A warm welcome to everybody here, and thank you all for joining today for this webinar. My name is Rene Lumene, and I work in CharmHealth Marketing. CharmHealth is a award-winning provider of a cloud-based EHR, practice management, medical billing solution that helps healthcare organizations. And today we are presenting Jumpstart Your Medical Practice for Success, presented by Rene Lumene. Am I saying your name correctly?
It's Rene Lumene, but you're close.
Rene Lumene. Renee is an accomplished healthcare leader with 17 years of experience in healthcare operations. He is the CEO and owner of Medical Practice Mastery. He also works for CharmHealth. A graduate of Webster University, attaining his master's in healthcare administration and master's in business administration. Renee's vision is to revolutionize the way medical practices are operated through thinking creatively and leveraging technology to streamline processes. A much needed area as our healthcare progresses through time today. So without further ado, Renee, I hand it over to you.
Thank you so much. I definitely would like to say thank you, Ranjani, for the great introduction. And thank you for everyone who is on this webinar to jumpstart your medical practice for success. I was really looking forward to doing this with everyone. As we get this going here, again, my name is Rene Lumene, and I know Ranjani did a great job doing an introduction for me, just a couple of interesting points about me so everyone can get to know me a little bit better. Again, CEO and owner of Medical Practice Mastery. I have 17 years of healthcare operations experience. I've worked for large healthcare systems where I've started medical practices. I've managed them multiple at a time in different specialties. And so whether it's primary care, orthopedic, endocrinology, mental health, I've done just about all of them. And so I've also have 16 years in the military service, 5 years active duty, and currently 11 years in the Navy Reserves. I've been married for 16 years to my beautiful wife, Christina, have 2 children, Gabby and Nathaniel. And I'm currently from, Miami, Florida, but we've been living in Texas for a little while now. And last but not least, we enjoy traveling with our kids to expose them to different foods and different culture, because experience is always the best way to be able to build connection with people. So with that being said, we will move on to this presentation. And, and before I go any further, I just really want to say, I think any of you who are either thinking of starting your medical practice or just started it, and you're kind of struggling on how to build your practice up, getting more patients in through the door, and really how to just market it and get it out there, I think this would be a wonderful presentation for you to be a part of and listen to. And with that being said, this takes us to our objectives and some key areas we want to focus on. First is going to be how to develop a niche. This is something I think as a medical provider, if you don't have one, you want to start thinking about it, because it's almost like, what people will know you for, right? And then number 2, create a strong online presence. 3, get involved in your community. And last but not least, offering unique services, so that way you can stand among your competitors. All right, develop a niche. I usually like to ask providers, who are your patient base? And quite honestly, I truly feel this is pretty simple to answer, because based on the specialty in which you practice in, you'll know what patients that you're going to provide care to, right? But this is where identifying your niche within your specialty, you're basically deciding, okay, what is it I want to be known for? So for example, if you're a primary care doctor, you want to make sure that you specialize, whether it is in hypertension, whether you want to specialize in diabetes. Like, you want to know, you want people to know that you are that subject matter expert in that area, because when you can do that, people will seek your services. And then of course, anything else that you offer is like icing on the top. But whenever you do find that niche, it does allow you to differentiate yourself among your competitors. Just imagine if you're Googling your competitors and seeing who is around you, right? And being able to go on their website and to truly see how are they identifying themselves as far as how they're marketing themselves? What are they known for? And so for you to better understand the geographical location in which you're serving and the people that you're treating, to understand what are some of the major areas here. And if no one, for example, is, is claiming that title as the provider who specializes in hypertension or diabetes or whatever chronic illness or diseases that is out there, then that is a window of opportunity for you to really step into that role and truly, separate yourself among your competitor. And so once you start to define that niche, you understand what it is and you can define it. I truly feel it makes it simple to understand how you're going to market yourself. And so when you do that, then you will be looked as the subject matter expert. And so this is why developing a niche is so crucial. And I think this is something that you all should start thinking about. And what I ended up doing, I thought it would be cool to list a couple of physicians that did exactly just that. And for some of them, their niche came out of pure passion for something. Sometimes if something happened to a family member or they get a disease that went untreated, sometimes those are the catalysts that can, take you on that journey to start learning more about that illness, that injury, and then becoming that subject matter expert. But as you can see, Dr. Helen Gale, she is a leading expert in HIV. She has contributed to a lot of research, and especially focusing on prevention, but also how to live with AIDS or HIV. So those are some key points there. You have Dr. Mona Abaza, who is a well-known ENT physician. She is known as the expert in voice disorders. And then you have Dr. Bobby Peterson. She's the first African-American physician who actually came up with a battery-operated toothbrush, and it actually cuts down the time it takes to brush your teeth in half. And I thought this was amazing. What I ended up doing is actually going on her Instagram account and to see how she's able to really market herself. I mean, she really owns that, and she really have created a brand for herself and her practice, and to the point where she's able to, to treat other celebrities, and people know her as, hey, this is a really cool doctor, very knowledgeable, but also is the first African-American who created a battery operated toothbrush. So I thought that was really interesting. I'm sorry. And so this kind of gives you a different perspective how these providers are able to differentiate themselves among their competitors, but as well as counterparts as well. One thing that I wanted to also do too is also share with you guys, when you create a niche for your practice, of course, you have the marketing and branding aspect of it, which we will get into shortly here. But I also wanted to create a list of patient referral sites. Some of these you all will be familiar with it, like ZocDoc is a popular one. You have Health Grades, you have Vitals as well, but you have a couple others that may not necessarily be too familiar with. For example, like Sesame, Headway, Quartet, Patient Pop. These are places as a provider where you can go sign up. Some of them you pay for new patient referrals and some of them you don't. And so, but nonetheless, this is, and I actually put hyperlinks in this because once this webinar is complete, you'll be able to just simply click on it, see which site works for your specialty to sign up and to really instantly start receiving patient referrals. So I wanted to make sure to include this page in here because I really felt like this would be something that you guys would truly find value in. All right. So here's one of my favorite topics to talk about is create a strong online presence. Yeah, we all know the power of social media, and I truly feel when it is used with intent purpose, social media can work very well for you and your business. So setting the stage for your practice through marketing and branding, right? I think the important thing is to understand why marketing and branding is so important because this is how people get to know you, right? And the old saying, out of sight, out of mind. Well, this is where social media can truly allow you to let the world know, hey, I am here. This is what we do, and this is how we do what we do. And by the way, I am a subject matter expert in this area, right? You get to create the right message for your practice. You get to control your narrative, but also too, right? You get to continue to differentiate yourself among your competitors so that people understand the type of services that you are providing, but also the look and feel of how your practice look. I'm talking about from your logo standpoint, from the coloring standpoint, anything that you do from a marketing standpoint, from your social media, your website, your documents for your practices, it's important that you have your logo on there, the brand and colors, because when you see these things all the time, people are going to remember you. People are going to associate certain things with your practice as long as you keep your branding consistent. And this is, a big deal, right? And so as I continue to go on with this presentation, you'll get to understand why the branding aspect of it is so important. So you're probably thinking, where do I start? Right. So you said, hey, Renee, I know you talked about the social media aspect. You talked about the branding, the marketing, and just making sure that, we stay consistent. But where and how do we start? So here are some quick steps. Marketing and branding can be very expensive. A lot of times, the marketing industry is, I believe, $1 billion industry. I mean, it really costs a lot of money, but it does not have to be very expensive. As long as you're willing to learn and put into work, you can really still have a nice, clean, professional looking marketing and branding kit put together to where all across platforms for social media and even your website, everything looks the same, and people will be able to say, "Wow, this is very professionally done." Right. So, for example, I always recommend to find some type of branding platform where you can create a logo that looks really nice, but also it'll generate a branding kit for your medical practice. The first one I have here is called Luca as an example. And actually, this is one that I even use for my company. When I started using Luca and I realized it created an email signature for me, it creates documents with headers with my branding color on it, business cards. It creates so much, and it really cuts down the amount of work that you have to do with creating different marketing kits, whether it's brochures, whether it's social media content and marketing kits. It really does it all for you, and everything is based on the logo that you create for your company, and everything else is truly set apart. And I believe it only costs, I believe, anywhere from $95 to $99 a year just to do it. So if you ask me, I think that's definitely a steal there. But you also have others like Taylor Brands, Lagura, Canva, and even Fiverr. Now, Canva is another one that I use as well too. I use it for marketing. Sometimes if I want to create something quick, or maybe use a template and then just simply put my branding colors and logo on it, it is a very useful tool. And then for Fiverr, if you don't have the time, but you still want some type of marketing or branding created for you that is very unique to to your business, then Fiverr is a great way to be able to find freelancers to get those things created. And again, these are things you might be used to or familiar with, but if not, I definitely encourage you to click on those links, check them out. But I think it'll really go a long way, especially for those of you who are looking to start a medical practice and you want to start it off the right way by looking nice, presentable, and clean. And then you have creating a functional website. Now, I put that specifically to say that, you don't necessarily have to spend $1,000, $2,000, or even $3,000 on a website per se. However, you just need a website that can do the job. You still want it to look nice. You still want it to look professionally, but it needs to be functional. For example, whenever I go to a medical practice website, I'm looking to see, is there clean communication? Is there access to patient portal through the website? Are there ways for patients to make payments on there? Can patients find, intake forms? Can patients easily communicate with the practice through the website? I mean, these are really important things. Is there an option for other providers who are looking to refer to you to go on your website and basically attach a referral form? Like, these are things that I'm looking for that I truly feel makes your website functional for whether it's, again, patients or other providers who are looking to connect with you or to refer patients to you. So those things are really key. And so I've also listed down, GoDaddy, Wix, and Web, and even Kajabi on here. And I'm going to talk about Kajabi once we get into the community aspect of it. But these are some of the platforms that I usually like to use for clients because it does the job, and the websites look really nicely done and professionally done as well. But also too, again, for the most part, you get the bang for your buck. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money to create a nice website. So here is basically a screenshot of Luca. I thought this was really important for you to just kind of have an idea of what I was talking about here. See, on Luca here, as you can see, is my company website or my company logo, but here have logo files for you. So basically it'll have your logos in different file formats, whether it's for PDF, it'll be in JPEG, and it'll be in just different formats based on what you need it for. For websites, you can even create websites on Luca as well. They give templates that you can customize for your liking. If you're looking for marketing materials, as you can see, you got t-shirts here, there's mugs, pens, whatever it is. This is a perfect way. So this is almost like a one-stop shop for marketing and branding. And like I said, you only spend about $95 to $99 a year just to be able to use this. It has all your social media marketing kits for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it is, it has it here for you, email signatures. So it really has it all. So as mentioned, for new practice startups, if you're looking for something really nice and, that can provide all this for you, I think this is a great way for you to go. Create your brand for your market. And Bill Gates says content is king, and that is so true. As I mentioned before, right? You may not need all these social media pages, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn. But as you go on with your company, you're going to see which marketing platform works the best based on the content that in which you are presenting on a consistent basis. Facebook is good to create groups, is good to put videos and just general content. Instagram is really good if you like to, create reels and short stories, things of that nature. TikTok, same thing for that. And of course, LinkedIn is more so on the professional side. But if you feel like you can capture a good amount of patients in that area, then that's something you want to be able to do for sure. But again, you don't have to do all of them. You can do just some of them, or maybe just one, whichever you feel is going to work for you. So I do see where Tiffany did post a question here, is what platforms were you just showing? And so, yes, I want to confirm that it is Luca. If I go back a little bit, Tiffany, here on Luca, as you can see it here. If you click on that link, it will take you to this website. And this is where you can actually register and create an account. And the first thing it's going to ask you is information about your company. And then from there, it'll give you different design types, font letter types that you can select from. So basically on the type of look and feel that you want for your company, you will answer those questions. And then from there, Luca is actually an AI platform. So based on what you say is going to basically gather all different type of designs to give you the look and feel that you're looking for your company, marketing and branding. And then from there, it'll automatically create all these social media kits for you, your business cards, email signatures, and all that. So hopefully that answered your questions for you. All right. So as I continue on with this here, and then lastly, the Google reviews. I cannot stress this enough. Google reviews are very important. There is a way for you to actually get your Google link. And this is something that I always recommend to providers. On your website, it's important to create a button to say patient reviews or Google reviews, however you want to label it. But all patients have to do is click on that button. It takes them to the Google review message box, and they can simply, click on how many stars they want to give you and place the Google review. And I believe the algorithm, the way it works for Google, it should be about 3 to 6 months. And so if you can consistently ask patients or create an email with the link for patients to complete their reviews after their appointments, then this will really help your ranking, right? And then, of course, you have other things like SEOs that can be really helpful. But I know with SEOs, that has to continuously be updated, right? Because based on keywords that are getting higher attention, and if those keywords are related to your services or the type of business that you're in, then those will also help with your ranking as well. But I definitely stress the Google reviews for sure. And then last but not least, I like this quote from Bernard K. Clive. He said, "Word of mouth marketing is the best form of free promotion." And I'm going to tell you this, it is so true. And if you're probably wondering, well, how do I get that? And honestly, it's really simple. It's nothing complicated. If you provide great service, people will tell other people. That is as simple as it gets. And this is why in your practice, whether you have a traditional setup or you have a virtual practice, make sure to have a team of people that's there to support you, but it's also very professional and they know how to interact with your patient population to really connect with them to build that trust. Because again, when you have good marketing and branding and whatever your niche is, and you are basically living to that expectation, and you can truly provide that great customer service and really simplify things for your patients, people will tell other people, and that would translate into positive Google reviews, and also they will tell other people. So that will truly help to build your practice. I can't stress that enough. So this takes us into get involved with your community, right? A community involvement is a vital part of any medical practice. And Coretta Scott King said it best: the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate action of its members. So here's the thing, right? When I'm talking about a community, I'm not talking about just physically being present in your community, but I'm also talking about virtual community. And remember early on when I talked about Kajabi as a form of platform to create your website on, what I love about Kajabi is that it allows you to create your own private community of people, of members, or in this case, if you want to create a community of patients that you can continue to feed content continue to educate them, this is a great way to do it, because they may not necessarily be on Facebook, but they are on your own private community that is a part of your website. And to me, I think that is probably one of the best ways to truly grow your following, but to also to grow a loyal patient base as well too. I do see we do have a question here from Catherine. The question is, so I have found obstacles with Google trying to change wrong former location for my business that is now only remote. I cannot get past this issue. Also, Google wants a location, for example, a map for the business. How do we deal with a remote business? Great question. So here's the thing. I have clients that I work with who have only, remote type of medical practice. The biggest thing is that you do have these virtual addresses that you can use, but it's going to be important to make sure that whoever you go through for those virtual addresses, it's important to make sure that they have a physical location where basically if you type into Google, if you type in the address in Google, it's going to actually pull up a physical building, but your address comes with a suite number. So I'm not sure if if that's your situation, Catherine, but if you don't have a suite number and it's just a regular physical address, then it's one of those things where you can have multiple businesses that are using the same thing, and so you can run into that issue. So hopefully that answered your question there. And then for Tiffany, so for Luca, it's Looka. So that's how you spell it. So just to make sure, if you want to Google it, just type in Looka. It should take you to Luca. But as I mentioned before, when you get this presentation, if you go to, let's see, what slide is it? If you come to this slide here, then you just click on here. It's going to take you directly to the website. So hopefully the goal is to get this out to you guys, hopefully today, if not by tomorrow at the latest. And then for some reason, I'm not finding the website. Can you share the website? Okay. Yeah. So that's what's going to be. And then, and for the website, if you type in www.luca.com, you should be able to find it. All right. All right. Wonderful. All right. So let me go back here. Okay, so just kind of going back to community, as I was saying with that, Kajabi is just a great way to create your own private community there. But again, right, even for like, it doesn't matter what specialty you are physically, that, again, getting involved with the community, whether you want to have a quick education and learn session where you want to talk about a specific chronic illness or disease, or if you're an orthopedic physician and you want to educate the community about certain injuries, or even going to schools and being able to talk with the athletic department or the sport teams, and teaching athletes how to take care of themselves to prevent injuries, whatever it is, just get out there, right? Be intentional to get out there, put your name out, to educate, because people will always remember, the provider who came out and educated us, and, who spoke about this, because people, oftentimes we think people know a lot, but really people don't know these things because everybody's is not a subject matter expert in the field in which you're in. But again, as I go back to finding your niche, whether you want to be known as an educator in medicine, or if you just want to be known as, this provider who find unique ways to treat illnesses and diseases, whatever it is, you have to market that, brand it, make it a part of you, make it a part of your business. So that way, when you're talking about it, when you're putting content out there, people, that would resonate with people who are probably dealing with certain things and who need more information. And so they will come and seek you. And that's what you want. And I think most importantly too, anytime you can connect with the community, it does put you in a position to where, you can better understand what's happening. So that way you can better serve them. But also too, right, I think it creates long-term success because you're connecting with them. You're getting to know the issues, and that really helps out for long-term success wise. So offer unique services. So this really goes back to developing a niche, right? And whatever it is, make sure it adds value. That is very important. For example, I know remote patient monitoring, it's something that, a lot of providers are starting to get more into, especially when you can monitor your patient's blood pressure, you can monitor their blood sugar, their weight. There's just so many different things out there now that will allow you to monitor your patients remotely, and taking that information and use it in a way to provide quality care. That always goes a long way. As I mentioned before, educational services. If you want to be known as an educator in your community, or just in the market, or just in general, this is where those social media platforms will come in handy. And I get it. Some of you may not be too keen on social media, and I understand it because I don't really go on social media that much. But please understand, when you're in business, social media is your friend. It will help you out. And so you just have to kind of find that balance, and what is going to be that thing that's going to help you to be consistent, and just making sure that your company name is out there. And then of course you have the pharmacogenomic testing for gene testing, right? Because I have a cardiologist who does that, right? This is how he is differentiating himself among the cardiologists within the Irving, Texas area. And he has a very loyal base type of patients who are coming to him, because now he's advertising, I can make sure that you're, because of your body type, your blood, that you're taking the right medication that's going to truly help you out, that's going to be good for you. So it's just being able to take those things and really set yourself aside, and then just building the patient confidence, right? I think anytime you become that subject matter expert, people have more confidence in you, because people, they're going to look at you and say, this guy or this, woman really knows what they're talking about. Plus they have data to back it up, or whatever it is, but you become that subject matter expert. And so it really helps patients to have that confidence in you. And then be one of a kind, right? Either you want to be one of one, or you could be one of many. And it really takes you just kind of figuring out your niche, so that way you can provide those services. Even as a primary care provider, you can offer, I'm just trying to think of something that's completely different that you may not typically see. Sometimes, if it's like, Botox injections or something, I'm just kind of thinking, off my mind here, but it's just something that is still within your scope of practice of being able to do, but may not necessarily be always done in your practice. But if you're able to do it and you get the right training and certification to do it, then do it, because it'll definitely go a long way for sure. And then other things that I also want to talk about, right, to expand your unique services, right? Because I have providers who do want to expand their services outside of the United States. And if you know about Google Market Finder, I think it's a pretty cool tool. This tool allows you to basically put in information about your practice, and then in the services that you offer. And what it does, it'll basically look around the world of where that same service is also offered or used by people, right? And so from there, it'll basically give you a ranking by country of who uses those type of services the most. It'll probably start with the US, and then it start trickling on down to probably the UK and then other places. But nonetheless, it gives you great information, so that way you know how to focus your marketing efforts if you are really interested in stepping beyond the borders of the US to offer your services. Concierge practices. This is something that is becoming more and more popular for providers who are not interested in taking insurances, and you just want to be a cash-based practice. That's perfectly fine, right? You just have to be able to come up with a payment model. A lot of it, a lot of times providers who do this, they have packages, and these are subscription type models that give them an X amount of visits, throughout the year. Or these are just monthly subscription models where, they're paying for monthly visits, but it really depends on your specialty and the frequency of the patient may need to come for what services, but those are just some things I just wanted to toss out there. And then also podcasts. Podcast is a great way to really put you out there to share to the world, but also it is content that you can repurpose as well. So I put matchmaker.fm. This is a website that I use personally because people usually like to come on my podcast to share about the services and the things that they're doing. And usually once it's put out there, then now you can take that content and put it on your website or share it on your social media as well too, because now people are seeing you. Oh, wow. Okay. This person is truly a subject matter expert. They're on a podcast and they're talking about this and that. So again, I felt like this would be a great tool to really help to just continue to push your marketing and the branding efforts. And one thing that I also wanted to mention too, for those who do take insurances, keep in mind, insurances are typically sending out emails asking providers for first availability for new patient appointments. And that is a great way to start getting patients into the doors as well too. And so I think as long as you notify the insurances that you have immediate availability, because they're always trying to make sure that they're getting their patients to be seen as quickly as possible. So that's another great way to get patients into the door as well. With that being said, again, my name is Rene Lumene. I really hope that the content that was shared with everyone today was insightful. Again, with the action steps that was shared, I really feel like this would be a great way to get things on the right foot, to start creating your logo, start creating your branding, create your social media pages, start with some of those patient referral sites, find whichever works for you, sign up on it so you can immediately start getting referrals in. And so that way you can really grow your practice. If you can do this in the beginning, then you'll definitely be on the right track to start growing your practices. Now, there are more things that you can do as well, from a strategic standpoint, but at least in the beginning, these are some of the key things that you want to do. But here's my contact here. You could definitely visit me on mpmastery.com, but also too, for those who are using CharmHealth, if you want to get in touch with me, please, you can send an email to support CharmHealth at charmhealth.com or rene.lumene@medicalmind.com. And my direct phone number is also there. We definitely want to make sure that you have the support that you need. If you want to be able to schedule a discovery call, so that way I can kind of talk a little bit more in detail based on what's going on with your practice and come up with an action plan. I can also do that as well too. So with that being said, I am Renee, and thank you for joining this webinar today. Thank you.
Renee, this is so invaluable. A lot of really great tips, and thank you so much for today's presentation. We look forward to having more of such presentations in the future. Yep, thank you so much. Renee is available for any further questions at the moment. Yeah, I do see a question coming in about digital business cards.
Yes, digital business cards are also helpful as well too. You can always send those to other referring providers, right? And so just kind of depending on how you set up your digital business cards, but at least if they have the contact information for your practice, absolutely you want to make sure to use it. So I always find those to be helpful as well, and of course to make sure that it can lead them to your website, right? And I think in most cases, right, when you can lead people to your website by using a digital business card, you want to make sure that you do have a contact page to where it'll be sent to your business email, so you can easily follow up on patients or follow up with other providers who may have questions regarding your services.
Super. I see another question here. Renee, are there virtual assistants that will do marketing plans? Like, how do you find and hire these people as well as other virtual assistants?
You know what? There's many companies that I've even encountered that have virtual assistants. The thing about those type of companies is that they usually will provide resumes of the virtual assistant's expertise. In some cases, they do have marketing experience, but you just have to be very specific with what you want whenever you are encountering those virtual assistant companies. I mean, they are a dime a dozen out there, but whichever one you decide to go with, you have to tell them specifically what you're looking for, the type of, basically somebody who is knowledgeable from the marketing and branding standpoint. Ask them to send you resumes, and then almost do like an interview basically to see if you feel like this person is knowledgeable enough to help your practice. Great question. So, all right. So how long does SEO take?
Yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead. Yeah, how long does SEO take?
All right. Well, so SEO, it does take some time. As I mentioned before, SEOs is something that has to continuously be worked on, right? Because I know on Google, you can actually research. Um, I forgot the term, but it basically shows you, like, for example, right? We're in medicine, and let's say you're a cardiologist. And of course, SEOs that you want is going to be cardiology, maybe nuclear testing, stress testing. I mean, these are keywords that will fall into your field of specialty. And so you just want to kind of see where those words rank, and then probably on a monthly basis, switch them out, right? Because as long as the words, the SEOs are relevant, then that's going to continue to allow your practice page to pop up when people are searching for those most relevant keywords that that is basically a part of your field of specialty. So I would say with that, consistently updating your SEO, give it at least a good 3 months to 6 months to really see some true value in that.